And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I am back with another video. It's my second video of the day. Gonna go ahead and finish up at least try to finish up the series of tier lists that we got going on. So before we get started, please like, comment, and if you're new to the channel and you like the video, subscribe, man. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. Help me out. So today we're going to be doing the power forward tier in NBA 2K21 My Team, ranking every single one from S to F. Let's get done with the parameters and we'll get started here. S tier, unquestionable best, 5 tool guys. They do pretty much everything, and adding either one of them, either of them I should say, to your team will instantly make it significantly better. A tier, these guys are extremely good, just a shade below S tier, but same parameters as S tier. They will make your team instantly better just by adding them. B tier, very, very good cards. These are some of the better cards in the game at the position. They may have a couple issues here and there, but other than that, very solid all-around cards. C tier, specialist guys that do one or two things very, very well, and lack in some of the other stuff, just not as good as the 3 tiers above them. D tier, cards that, I mean, if you're really good with them, go ahead and use, but generally for everybody, I don't recommend using them. And F tier, I don't call it worthless tier like some of the other people who do tier lists on YouTube, just because it, more so in this game than any other game, every card has some modicum of value. Even cards I think are trash do have some sort of value. So F tier are just cards that I recommend using someone from the higher tiers. They're the least recommended guys on the tier. So with that being said, let's get underway. Al Harrington. Al Harrington's kind of tough to rank, to be honest with you. I'd probably put him in C tier, just because he would be what's considered a specialist guy. Like, he is a very good shooting big man. He's a little tiny bit undersized, but he can hold it down. He plays a little bit of defense. Not a guy I would recommend running against like God squads, but I can't sit here and tell you he's terrible. Like, he's good for TTO. He's good for a few other things. Lower overall, limited. He's got his uses. I mean, he basically defines the specialist role. I can't sit here and tell you that he's like D tier. I'm sure he's going to be the lowest possible end of C tier, but he's all right. Jaren Jackson Jr., he's also C tier. He's very, very good. I like Al Harrington because he has uses in like TTO and stuff like that, especially for like lower overall cheesing. Like, he's a very good Sapphire card. Like I said, he's going to be the lower end of C tier. He may even move down to the upper echelon of D tier. It just kind of depends what C tier is looking like. So he's actually subject to move, but Jaren Jackson Jr. I think is actually a very good card. He is definitely one of the higher C tier guys. Kevin Garnett. Honestly, I think Kevin Garnett's A tier. He's one of the best defensive big men in this game. He actually has a decent shot. He can actually move really, really well as well. I mean, the only things that are knocking him is his ball handle and his shooting from range. Other than that, he's excellent, and being able to buy him for under 100K, he's absolutely a great card in this game. Jeff Green. Man, see, I love Jeff Green, but like, I try to be as unbiased as possible with these lists, and my man is an emerald with like 6 badges. Like, he's D tier. I couldn't put him in worthless tier. Like, I absolutely couldn't. There's no possible way I could do that to my man Jeff Green. But if I'm being completely unbiased, like, he has good hot zones for a small forward. He just doesn't have the badges, man. He's got 5 gold badges, 3 silvers, 11 bronzes, which is solid. He's got good badges. Like, don't get me wrong. Jeff Green is really, really good. To be honest with you, I'll move Al Harrington down because I believe these two are very similar in their level. Like, Al Harrington is good, so is Jeff Green. I mean, they're good at TTO, they're good for lower overall cheesing, but can I sit here and tell you if I'm running a best squad versus best squad game of unlimited, I'm picking either of these two guys over Jaren Jackson Jr.? No, of course not. I can't do that. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Man, this one's really tough. I would go D tier, and the reason for that is because this Ruby Giannis is really, really not good. It's specifically supposed to be not good. I mean, that's the whole point of it. It's got decent badges, but he really can't do anything. He only has like a 65 speed. He can't shoot at all. His ball handle is really low, too. They made this Giannis bad on purpose. They gave him like a bunch of badges, but they're all gold and silvers, and not very many of them are upgradable. And the ones that are upgradable are not the ones that you want, like Lob City Passer and like Stop and Go, which doesn't really help him at all because he can't ball handle, and like Pro Touch. So like those are the only badges that you can upgrade. He's got good defensive badges, so he's a good defensive guy, but I would pretty much call him like he is. He's a specialist guy, and if you like him, I can't argue with you, but at this point, I just can't recommend using him. Derek Coleman's B tier. Derek Coleman is, to be honest with you, kind of a 5'2" total guy. Like, he can't ball handle very well, but he's one of the only big men, especially for his price range around 10,000, that can shoot the three-pointer. Decent release. He's got good badges. He's a little bit undersized, but he's still 6'10". He just feels a lot smaller for some reason. Other than that, man, he's a really good card. Plus, he has that duo with Drazen Petrovic, which makes him a lot better. Like, I'm not even kidding, significantly better. Like, it boosts, like, pretty much every one of his offensive stats. Puts him up to, like, a 92 three-pointer, but he starts with an 88. Like, he's a good card. Like, he gets no love whatsoever. And a lot of it comes down to his speed with ball. He's got, like, a 25 speed with ball, 48 ball handle. So he's absolutely not going to be handling the ball. But as far as like playing interior defense and shooting the open three, there's not very many 3-and-D power forwards and slash centers out there, and Derek Coleman is one. Anthony Davis is kind of tough. I don't know. Like Giannis, I feel bad putting Giannis down in D tier. Like I really do, just because I like Giannis so much. It's hard to really put him down there. And honestly, I kind of feel the same way about this Anthony Davis card. He's a little bit better. Like, I would say he's lower end C tier just because he's decent and he's got, like, the same badges as Giannis. A little bit less defensive badges. Like, I think he's missing, like, lightning reflexes and interceptor and stuff, which is kind of important. But, like, he does have at least, like, bronze corner specialist, bronze hot zone hunter, even though he has, like, much more hot zones. He got the same finishing badges. I don't know. These cards suck, dude. Like, I really don't like them. And I think what really bothers me about them is, in theory, like, they should be budget versions of, like, NBA stars that guys with no money spent guys and guys who just don't spend a bunch of VC should be able to afford. But instead, they were locked behind VC paywalls. And they're, like, way too expensive on the marketplace. So just out of principle, like, I can't put them up in C tier. I'm keeping them down in D just because they anger me. Antoine Walker. Dude, Antoine Walker's tough, man. I don't know. I really like this card. I'm not gonna lie. It's really good. He's got good badges. He shoots the three. He's like a way better, not a way better, but a better version of Derek Coleman. I would put him down in B tier, like top tier B tier. He might even move up to A tier. He's really fucking good. Like, I think the only thing that keeps him out of A tier is just that he's a little bit small. But he, like I said, he's subject to change. He's absolutely incredible. Like, he's got great stats, great badges. I'd like to have him have a few more defensive badges, but you can always add those to him. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Dude, Antonio McDyess is fucking awful. Like, I hate Antonio McDyess. D tier. He's a specialist guy. He plays interior, dunks the ball, and can play defense, but that's about it. That's literally it. I would take Jaren Jackson Jr. over him because he's more multidimensional. Amari Stoudemire, B tier. He's really good. His shot could use a little bit of work, but he's really similar to what Kevin Garnett brings to your team, but he's just a little bit better at like ball handling and distributing, whereas Kevin Garnett is significantly better at defense, and just the disparity between those two things are a little off. So I think Kevin Garnett's better, but Amari's really good as well. Kenyon Martin, I do not like Kenyon Martin. F. Still usable. If you like him, go right ahead. I just personally don't like this card. He doesn't really bring anything to the table except being able to dunk and rebound occasionally. It's like a worse McDyess. Bailey Howell. I don't think Bailey Howell is quite B tier, but he's definitely up there C tier. He's a T-Mac clone. He's just a little bit small at the power forward, and you have to equip all the shooting badges to him. He's mildly outdated. He's got a really good jump shot. He handles the ball well, and he's a little bit small. But other than that, I think he's upper echelon C tier. Like, I'm using Bailey Howell and Jaren Jackson over all the guys below him. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is tough, man. He's a hard card to rate, so I'm going to wait on Ben Simmons, but I'll go straight into Blake Griffin's S tier. it's not even remotely close. He's like the best power forward in this game, in my opinion. Chris Webber. Chris Webber's B tier. He's solid. He might get moved down. It's quite possible. He's a little bit outdated, but he's still really, really good on the interior. He runs rim really well. He can shoot threes if he's wide open. Like, I can't say for certain he's much worse than Derek Coleman. Like, Derek Coleman's better at him than some stuff, and Webber's better at him than others. I would say these two are, like, lower end B tier, but they're definitely B tier. Serge Ibaka's A tier. Like, it's not, yeah, not even a question. He's most certainly A tier. Like, I'm ranking them as power forward, so, like, Antoine Walker as a small forward is probably, if he's a small forward, he's probably B tier. Just how good small forwards are, it's not really his fault. He's a really good guard. If you're using Antoine Walker, he is very, very good. He's very offensively good. I wish he was a little better on defense, but other than that, he's solid. Serge Ibaka's just, he's really good. It's his body type, man. His animations are crazy. He's got a good jump shot. He can run rim, like he dunks the ball. He plays amazing defense. He shoots from the corners really well, which is where he's going to be. He even shoots from top of the key a little bit. He has that duo with Durant. That makes him so fucking good. Yeah. You could argue either one of these guys. Like, if you were to tell me, oh, I use Ibaka on my team for this reason, I use Garnett for this reason, I'm not going to argue either way that you should use one or the other. It's whatever is better for you. Giannis badged up is probably low-end B tier at this stage in the game. Like, he's still Giannis Antetokounmpo, and, like, yeah, he can't shoot, but it's Giannis. Like, yeah, I put the other Giannis down in D tier, but, I mean, realistically, this current card is still really good. He has no hot zones whatsoever. And to be honest with you, the badges that can be upgraded, yeah, I'm going to move him down to C tier, just because I think Ben Simmons will go into B tier, and he's just a better version of what Giannis brings to your team. To be completely honest with you, like, Giannis can shoot the mid-range a little bit better, but Ben Simmons is a god-tier defensive card and can operate as, like, your power or your point forward, and that's something that we don't really see too often. So Bobby Jones is D tier. He's the only reason that's keeping him out of F tier is he's so ridiculously good on the offensive and defensive boards that he's not worthless. Like, he plays exceptionally good defense and rebounds the ball extremely well. Let's see. Let's move you down. I haven't decided what to do with you yet. Tom Chambers. I think he's like a worse version of Bobby Jones. Nothing wrong with the card if you use him. Go right ahead, especially for limited and stuff like that. I just think that Bobby Jones is a better version of what Tom Sanders brings to your team. Tom Heinsohn. I'm not going to say he's like worthless or F tier. He's decent. He's okay. He brings a little bit. He's got a weird jump shot, but he's good. Truck Robinson. Like, he's not F tier, I don't think, anyway. He's, yeah, he's all right. It's Carlos Boozer. I'm not giving this dude anything above D tier. It's not happening. I'm a Bulls fan, and it hurts my soul. Thurl Bailey is a rebounding god, and he can shoot the mid-range really well, and he's got a good dynamic duo with Stockton. So I'll put him in C tier. He's solid. Yeah, Zach Randolph is bad. He's just bad, man. He's not good. Bob Love is really good, B tier, for sure. You could argue even A tier. Like, if you want to jump in the comments and tell me that you think Bob Love is A tier, I'm not going to argue with you for sure. I'll definitely hear you out. I personally think he's probably B tier. Like, as of right now, I think it goes like this, in this exact order, as far as how the rankings go. Like, I think Antoine Walker's a little bit better than Bob Love, but I think it goes Antoine Walker, Bob Love, Amari, Ben Simmons, Chris Webber, Derek Coleman. Yeah, Chris Webber's last, but you get what I'm saying generally. AC Green. AC Green's like a way worse version of, like, Thurl Bailey. Still decent, though, if you use him, by all means. Boris Diaw. Dude, Boris Diaw's really tough. I honestly think he's... No, I honestly think he's B tier. Like, to be completely honest with you, he's subject to move down to C tier, but, like, I think he's B at this stage. Like, he really is that good. Udonis Haslem. Upper echelon D tier. He's a really, really good defensive card, but he doesn't really do anything else. He has a decent mid-range, though, so I would use him personally over, like, McDyess or Boozer. But that being said, I'd probably use him over most of these guys, to be honest. Big Scal goes C tier. C tier, yeah. Big Scal's decent. He has good defensive badges, actually, and he shoots lights out. Like, he's a really good power forward. Billy Cunningham. I hate Billy Cunningham, dude. I really don't like this card. If you like him, by all means, like, I feel like you're definitely entitled to that. I just hate him. Fully badged out Obi Toppin. Or fully evoed out, I should say. I think he's C tier, dude. Obi Toppin's actually pretty good. I'm like a known Obi Toppin hater, like in real life. And I was actually surprised that he was decent in 2K. Like, he's got a good little jump shot on him. He plays really well. Especially if you get him that shooting evo, which is what I recommend getting him. He actually ends up getting really good badges, like bronze range, like gold flexible, catch and shoot. He goes up to like an 86 three-pointer. He's decent, man. His speed is what kind of kills me a little bit. Like, his speed with ball, you'd like him to handle it a little bit better. But other than that, I mean, you can always go and get him the like athletic upgrade, and then he goes up by a little bit. But the shooting upgrade is what I would recommend doing for sure. He's still a good card, though. Next up, we got Josh Smith. As much as I like Josh Smith, and I do, I really don't think he's S tier at this stage in the game. Like, S tier for power forwards is so small. Like, and I just don't think Josh Smith brings that. That being said, I really like Josh Smith, but I have had times where I really don't like him, and I just don't think he's on the S tier guys level. Like, I just don't. Oh, Jeff Foster is literally awful. He's so bad. If you like him, dude, by all means, go for it. But I can't use this guy. Buck Williams is B tier, for sure. He's literally one of the best defensive power forwards in this game. He just doesn't bring too much else to the table, but he's really, really good. I like him a lot. Tom Gugliotta with the Evo is B tier. Without the Evo is C tier, so I'm going to put him at C tier. I like Tom Gugliotta, but I'm being objective here. And yeah, without that Evo with Rex Chapman, like, he's definitely C tier. With the Evo, he goes up to B tier, though. He can shoot the three really well and plays a lot better perimeter defense, but I don't think that I can justify putting him in B tier with these guys, because with no Evo, I'm using every single one of these guys over Gugliotta. Sharif Abdur-Rahim I really like, but he's upper echelon C tier. I can't put him in B tier with those guys that are up there. Those guys are better than him. Like, personally, I would use Sharif Abdur-Rahim over Chris Webber, like, personally. But I've been abused by Chris Webber before in Unlimited, like, not too long ago, and I know he still has value for people who know how to use him. And, like, I played against Sharif Abdur-Rahim a few times and never been abused by him. I've never abused anyone with him, but he's always just bang average. He's good. I mean, no lie. We got Christian Laettner. Yeah, no. Christian Laettner gets no love on my channel, sorry. D tier. He can shoot a little bit, but that's about it. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is so tough, dude. Yeah, Anthony Davis is so annoying, dude. I gotta go S tier. He's so annoying. He might get put down to A tier, to be completely honest with you, just because he does lack that shooting touch. I don't think he's really that much different than Kevin Garnett. Yeah, I really don't, man. He's got a little bit better shooting badges than Garnett, and he's got just as good defensive badges and stats. Like, man, I don't know. This one's really tough to me. Like, legitimately really tough. I really have to sit here and, like, think about this. So I'm looking at the actual comparison right now, and Anthony Davis does shoot the three a little bit better by 2, which isn't really that big of a deal. He's got a little bit better offense than Kevin Garnett, but it's not really crazy far away. He's just better in the post and stuff like that, but he handles the ball better than Garnett too. And the defensive stats really aren't that different. And both jump shots, I think, have the same issues, that they're a little bit slow, and I'm not a huge fan of them. Honestly, dude, it's really, really tough. To the point where I'd have to put them in the same tier, to be completely honest with you. I don't think you can put these guys in 2 different tiers. Like, I think they literally have to be right next to each other. I just think they're way too similar. Anthony Davis, the current card, I think he's like low-end C tier. Like, he's still really good. Don't get me wrong. Him and Giannis are very similar as far as, like, what they bring to your team. I just don't think there's anywhere else you could put him. Clark, dude, all right, Clark Kellogg is actually really good. Look, I'm not even kidding. Like, he's low-end C tier, do not get me wrong. But my man's kind of fast. Like, he's sneaky fast. He can shoot pretty decent. You can give him some good badges. Like, Clark Kellogg is actually good. Especially for like a free card, dude. He's actually not bad. I thought he was going to be trash, and I've been using him for TT online or offline to get the challenges done. He's actually decent, dude. His badge count is really weak, but you can actually give him like a pretty decent amount of badges. He comes standard with a weak badge count, I think only 9, but you can give him a few more. You can give him pretty much every finishing badge in the game. Shooting badges you can't, but you can upgrade his catch and shoot a little bit at least. I wish you can give him corner specialist, but it's whatever. You can give him every playmaking badge and every defensive badge in the game. He only comes standard with like a few finishing badges, catch and shoot, and like deep fades for shooting. Not very many badges, period, but you can upgrade him really well. He's got an 83 pointer. Like, he's actually really solid, like no lie. Like if I had to rank these guys, it would be these 3: Jaren Jackson Jr., Thurl Bailey, Scalabrini. I use Clark. It just depends with Scalabrini. Clark Kellogg. I definitely like Clark Kellogg. Obi Toppin. I take Clark Kellogg over these two, personally. Andre Karolinko. He's C tier as well. He's really good, but he has his issues. I wish they made this card a little bit better. I wish they gave him base 11 because they fucked him over and gave him a different release this year. But very serviceable card. Very good. Mo Lucas. Dude, Mo Lucas is... he's so good. I don't think he's as good as like some of the other YouTubers do though. At the same time, like I'd probably put him like upper B tier. I really don't think he's A tier. Like he's really good defensively, but like how much better defensively is he than Garnett or Anthony Davis? I don't really think he's that much better defensively than them. If you look at stats and everything like that, I mean, he's not. He has that Hall of Fame clamps, and I get it. Anytime you see a purple clamps badge, you want to like freak the fuck out, but I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. Kevin Garnett has just as good badges. He has gold clamps and gold defensive leader, so it's not that big of a deal. They all have Hall of Fame Intimidator, and pretty much all the defensive badges are there. You can give them every shooting badge in the game, but it's like, yeah, this card would be really good for like top tier players, but I'm trying to think of like anybody using this card, and I think B tier is probably appropriate for him. I'm sure I'll get a bunch of dudes in the comments that are like, bro, he's A tier, dude, he's A tier, you don't know what you're talking about. Probably not. Realistically, like I probably don't when it comes to Mo Lucas, but I think he's probably B tier. You know what? Mo Lucas is really good. I'm going to put him in A tier, just the low end of A tier. I think he's that good defensively and in that serviceable on offense that I think he makes sense. Like, personally, I'm using AD and KG over him, but he's still a good card. And Serge Ibaka, to be honest with you. But you can make a argument that maybe I'd use him over Josh Smith. I just really don't like Josh Smith right now. Paul Silas is solid, dude. He's like a little budget Draymond. It's really good. Tyrone Hill, he's just a big body, go up and grab rebounds type guy. Still good though. Tim Duncan's A tier. Like, it's not even remotely close. He's definitely A tier. Like, he's not as good as Blake Griffin, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not even close. Like, Tim Duncan's not as good as Big Blake, because Big Blake can ball handle, he can do pretty much everything, but Tim Duncan's still, like, I put him at the top A tier because he's my favorite big man in this entire game. Like, I like Big Blake a little bit better, but Tim Duncan's been holding it down for me for a while, so I'm a huge fan of this Timmy D card. The only knock I have against this is he doesn't ball handle incredibly well. He can a little bit, but he'll get it swiped from him if you try. And his jump shot is a little bit slow. It's kind of like Chauncey Billups level slow, but either way, I think just everything he does, especially that he has range, a good three-pointer, etc., you can't put him lower than Anthony Davis and Kevin Garnett and Ibaka. Like, you can't. Like, this is a personal preference thing, why he's on the front of the line, but, you know. Danny Manning. Dude, as much as I like Danny Manning, I can't sit here and tell you he's C tier. Because I think Paul Silas is better, and I think Thurl Bailey is better than him. Like, being real. Paul Millsap. Well, let's do Rashard Lewis. As a small forward, he's better. I'd say he's low-end C tier. Just because you just don't have that many guys that can shoot. Like, I think he's better than Al Harrington. I don't know. Man. No, you know what? I'm throwing him in D tier. He's just outdated. There's nothing wrong with him or anything. Dave DeBusschere. C tier. He's okay. He gets the job done. Paul Millsap is B tier. I don't care what anyone says. I love this Paul Millsap card. He's so good, dude. I will say, like, he's lower end B tier. Like, him and Chris Webber are lower end B tier. And Boris Diaw, I suppose. And Derek Coleman, man. Yeah, see, this is right for him. Paul Millsap deserves to be, like, right here. Kevin Love, B tier as well, in my opinion. He's a catch-and-shoot big man that can rebound pretty decent. He's just not great defensively. Like, he can rebound okay, but he's not really stopping too many people. And at power forward, he's just a little bit too slow. And at the center position, he's just a little bit too small. So he's kind of positionless almost. Just the way other people play 2K. Because, I mean, if Kevin Love runs into Blake Griffin, he's getting absolutely fucking destroyed. Serge Ibaka, just some of these faster guys. Some of the bigger guys, he's running into, like, Anthony Davis Garnett. He's getting bodied due to size. If he runs into, like, Josh Smith or Antoine Walker, he's getting bodied based on, like, speed. So David West is I honestly, dude, I don't care what anyone says. I really like David West. I honestly believe he's a B tier power forward. Like, he's one of the most slept on cards in this game. He's actually really good. I think he's better than all these guys in C tier. Like, if you disagree, I would like to hear your logic on that. As much as I like these guys, you're not going to tell me that they're just as good or better than David West. I really don't think that's true. Rodman, he's just so bad on the offensive end that it's hard to really suggest that he should be in C tier. Like, I could build a team and then have, like, Dennis Rodman as my power forward and, like, not need him to score, but at the same time, and that could work out. Whereas I'm not, like, I'm less confident about doing that with, like, Dave DeBusschere, but, like, he just is such a liability on offense that it's hard to really count him as anything than, like, a specialist guy. Luis Scola. Scola's low end C tier. Like, he's decent. He plays good defense. He rebounds the ball. He can shoot a little bit. He's all right. Derek Favors. I do not like Derek Favors. I'll be completely honest with you. I mean, some people love this card. I'm just not a big fan of it. Like, Truck Robinson rebounds the shit out of the ball. That's why he's there. And, like, Tyrone Hill fucking sucks, but he's huge. So those are the reasons they're up there. Derek Favors just doesn't bring anything like that. I know people hate Dirk Nowitzki, but I can't put him anywhere lower than C tier. He's still 7 feet tall and can shoot the ball. And he can handle the ball a little bit, and he plays well in the post. Like, I know people hate him because they don't like his jump shot, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's on the same level as, like, Tyrone Hill or Haslam. It's not true. I hate Donyell Marshall, dude. I honestly, like, if you like him, that's on you. That's cool, but I would use every person in D tier over Donyell Marshall. Yeah, I mean, you knew this was coming. Zion's S tier, for sure. He's unstoppable, pretty much. He's just so good. I usually would use him at small forward, to be honest with you, but I can't deny that this man at power forward is still an S tier guy as well. Offensively, he's just one of the best cards in the entire game. It's not even particularly close. He jumps out of the building. He shoots a lights-out three-pointer from range. He can handle the ball. He plays defense. He does everything. The only thing he can't do is, like, he can shoot free throws too. I don't really know what he has bad defensive settings or tendencies. That's it. That's the only thing wrong with that card. Draymond Green. This one's tough. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I want to put him in A tier because I love this card. But like I've always said, I am rational when it comes to these tier lists for the most part. At least I try to be. And Draymond Green, I don't think is on the same level as these S or A tier guys at this stage in the game. With that being said, I love Draymond Green, dude. He's like one of my favorite cards in the game. He can run point forward, which I love to do. The other thing is he doesn't have a lot of badge upgrade slots. I think you can only give him like 3 badges. He does have that Hall of Fame Intimidator and that Hall of Fame Defensive Leader. And like you can get him gold clamps and interceptor and stuff. He's great defensively. He's got good playmaking badges. He has like a Hoff Dimer, which is fucking crazy. But just completely honest, yeah, he just lacks a little bit of speed. He's good defensively, but he's a little bit small. I can't put him in A tier. Like, he's just not good as good as these guys. I really like this card. He's one of my favorite cards all year long. The fact that I'm still using this card that came out week 1, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was, yeah, that's crazy. He was the Ben Wallace packs, I'm pretty sure. That's nuts. But, He might have been week 2 or week 3. I don't remember, but like the fact that I'm still using a card in my lineup that came out the first couple weeks is crazy. That speaks volumes to how good that card is. Drew Gooden, D, acceptable enough. Elton Brand, ooh, that's tough. That's real. I hate Horace Grant. I'm just gonna throw him down at F tier now. Elton Brand's a really tough card to rank, to be completely honest with you. If you fully badge him out, I think he's B tier. Like, I think he is. I don't think he's really that terrible, to be honest with you. He's not as terrible as he has been in the past. He's actually not bad. Especially if you badge him out, he's pretty decent, man. I don't recommend going for him. Like, he's not worth the exchange, for sure. He doesn't shoot the three-pointer, but, like, neither does Buck Williams. So, like, I can't really say that that's a good reason to keep him out of B tier. I think he dunks the ball really well. He can shoot the mid really well. He's got decent speed. His ball handle's kind of low, but you can upgrade a lot of badges on him. Give him like flexible release, tireless shooter, volume shooter, stuff like that. Give him good playmaking badges and defensive badges, and he's actually a pretty good card. Like, especially for a free, he's not a free pink diamond, but like an easier to attain pink diamond. Elvin Hayes, on the other hand, fucking sucks, dude. Like, yeah, dude, he's so bad. Literally, he's so bad. Like, he's only in C tier because there's no way I can sit here and tell you that, like, he's worse than, like, Tyronn Hill, or even on the same level as, like, Tyronn Hill, or, like, he's a better Rodman, for sure. He's just not good. C tier is where he belongs, in my opinion. Hot Rod's not good. He's just like Horace Grant. They're basically, like, worse versions of these guys up here. Jermaine O'Neal's actually really good. He's like low-end B tier, in my opinion. He's a little bit outdated because he was one of the first pink diamonds out, but he's actually a really good card. Like, from a personal preference standpoint, I'd probably take Jermaine O'Neal over like Chris Webber, but I recognize that Chris Webber is a B tier card at this stage. And I'd probably take Ben Simmons over him for ball handling purposes, but like, he deserves to be in B tier. Juwan Howard, probably B tier. He's a very, very average power forward in this game, and power forward's kind of a weak position. Like, it's a weak position compared to, like, the rest of the positions in this game. I just think that, like, Juwan Howard's good. B tier is, like, way larger than some of the other position tier lists are, just because power forward's a weird position where, like, there's a couple guys that are unquestionably the best, very good guys that are just, like, a shade under it, and there's not very many of them. Then there's a bunch of guys who we've gotten over the last season or so that are very good. There's just a very clear gap between these guys and these guys. And then there's guys who, you know, very usable, etc. I mean, power forward position really does, like, explain the tier list just with the players it has in it. It makes total sense. It's the most applicable to a tier list, in my opinion, anyway. Fuck Karl Malone. Literally, fuck Karl Malone. He's a predator. Larry Johnson. Yeah, Larry Johnson's B tier too. I mean, all of these guys are B tier. Like, the way I describe B tier, it applies to all of these guys. Like, they're very good cards that do 3 out of basically like 5, you know, when you talk about like 5 tool cards, they basically do somewhere between 2 and 4 out of the 5 tools. They're very good at what they do. And they're cards that if you told me you used them as your starting power forward, I'd be like, okay, cool. I mean, yeah, I recommend going to grab Anthony Davis and Kevin Garnett if you want to compete, or like Serge Ibaka, but like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong for using Antoine Walker or Bob Love or Amari or Draymond. Like, that's fine. Alexej Bukovetsky. If you're on next gen, he might be C tier, but nah, he's C tier. He's decent. He can hit the 3. He's really big. He's really fast on next gen for no reason. And Nayday. Sorry, buddy. F tier. Just unusable. Not unusable. He's just he only rebounds. That's basically it. He dunks a little bit. He can't really do much else. I would rather have like Dennis Rodman, personally, or someone bigger like Tyrone Hill that has interior presence. I don't even think he rebounds more than a little skinny ass Bobby Jones. So anyways, guys, this has been my tier list. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of the tier list in general. Other than that, I'll be back tomorrow with the center tier list, and I'll put out some other videos that aren't tier lists as well. So stay tuned for that. All my stuff will be in the description. If you want to check out like the Patreon or the podcast or the Twitch, go to twitch.tv/cheapludes. If you want to check me out, I will be streaming occasionally this week. Other than that, man, thanks for everyone who jumps in the comments and says what's up to me for these tier lists. Like, even if you're telling me I'm wrong, it's still cool to see comments and stuff like that. So don't forget to like and come in the comments below and kind of talk about where you would have put players. I'm always down with that. And if you're new, man, you made it this far, subscribe to the channel, man. I appreciate all you guys. But anyways, I'll be back tomorrow with the center tier list, and peace out.